What are you doing, young man?
No young man here.
Yeah. You go get your sprayer license, you can spray for me. How's that sound? I don't know if you'll be able to get up out of that chair. Across the road. I gotta go spray a little bit more first. Why, you wanna ride with me again?
No.
You don't wanna ride again?
Nice machine. Oh, I can't believe it.
It's nice, isn't it? Make sure you water this pad to see if it keeps growing.
Okay.
All right. Oh man. Wayne. Yeah, so welcome back to the good old Southern IA, if you didn't allude to it by the thumbnail. And I was talking with Wayne this morning. Dad and I invested in a new sprayer. And for my equipment junkies out there, I'll just do a little intro to the sprayer, talk about it just a little bit, and maybe do a little bit of spraying in this video. I have done, I think this will be my third day in there, and impressive. So this is a 2014 STS-12 Hagie. So STS-12 means it has a 1,200 gallon tank. It's high crop. I'm 6'2" and the airbags aren't put up on here, so it has a lot of ground clearance. Purchase of this sprayer kind of fell into place. Dad and I went and looked at a 2013 sprayer. Actually, it was an STS-12. That deal fell through. This one came up for auction, and we did something that we never thought we'd ever do. We actually bought this sprayer sight unseen. The sprayer was supposed to come with 100-foot booms, and it technically came with 100-foot booms, but the last 5 feet of these booms was cut off. Yeah. So it has 90-foot booms, which we're not necessarily mad about, because the 90-foot booms actually work pretty good in our field, so we get into a lot of tight spaces. It's got brackets welded on there for Y drops, so in the future, possibly put a full set of 90-foot Y drops on there. That would give us the ability to diversify our nitrogen program a little bit, which would be also an advantage. Got the skinny tires on here. It came with basically a brand new set of floats on it. Stainless steel tank, and it's got all-wheel steer. You can turn around and touch the back end of it. Comes with front fill, with also 3-inch fill, but we're still using 2-inch plumbing on the trailer. I'll show you up in the cab here in a little bit. So obviously, you guys, if you watch the channel, you know that we have a DTS-10. You're gonna be wondering, what the heck are you guys doing with the DTS-10? Well, my dad owns the DTS-10, so it's up to him what he wants to do with the DTS-10, but most likely he'll be holding on to that. We'll be running 2 sprayers when we can run 2 sprayers, if we have the manpower, the tending ability, everything along those lines. Also gives us the ability to maybe have 1 sprayer set up on one chemical program, the other sprayer set up on the other one, or 1 spraying beans and 1 spraying corn. Diversifies us a little bit. Also, that DTS-10 is a bad mamma jamma. She's really light. She runs right across the field. I think this sprayer weighs 10,000 more pounds than that DTS-10 does, maybe even a little more than that. This is before John Deere bought the Hagie, so it's got the Cummins in there. You can say if that's a good thing or a bad thing. That's kind of up to you. I think the new ones have like the 9-liter John Deere engine in it, and I think that's a pretty good engine. From what I can tell, we burn absolutely no oil in this engine. There goes the sprayer. Nope, cement truck. This is actually pre-def, so no def. Thank you. It's got the reverser fan up here. I have been spraying in tall corn a little bit. That's a wild ride. In the cab, this cab is massive. It's got a leather cloth combination high back seat that's really comfortable. Your ride, obviously, it's got a buddy seat, desk combination deal that it has going on. Plenty of room for the blue dog. The windows are kind of dirty, guys, because they got fungicide on them. It has Harley pegs, leather wrapped steering wheel. It's pretty darn nice. We're controlled by an ag leader with geo steer, so we have steering on a sprayer. And I've actually only used that once so far, so, which I was okay with it last night. Lots of places to mount things like GoPros. It apparently has the newer joystick control here. Works pretty good. You got your up, down, your boom height controls on these sides, your range selections on the side here, master switch, and this is what's turning on and off the auto steer. I need to fill this thing up because I'm going to be working today, and I'll kind of review it a little bit more as I'm spraying. But like I said, there's a huge difference in between this sprayer and the DTS-10. Creature comforts, the quietness of this cab, just, I didn't think there'd be that big of a difference in between the two sprayers. And we go from a 2005 to a 2014, and it's a wild jump. And I like this sprayer. I really like this sprayer. Let's fill up. Quite a bit faster.
They shop the bike. The mechanics, they couldn't find any around. So they keep asking me, tell them what happened, what really happened. Yep.
So in the cab here, you have to switch in between field and road mode when you get to the field or from the road. Home screen gives you kind of everything that you're looking at. You get these target speeds, and so on the side here, you switch your speed ranges, and so you can change your speed ranges that you like, your target speeds. So say you want to go 8 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour, you can set a target speed. That way when you shove up on the stick, it goes up to that target speed. Versus like the DTS-10, you just got low, medium, and high, and you're the speed control by the throttle. Has a backup camera on it. You can hit the diagnostics part of this screen, look up codes, things like that. Up here you got your heads-up display, the master, the fence rows, your 9 sections, another fence row, and then the boom behind you, or the wheel nozzles. Your air conditioning controls up here, your radio. This screen here, you can turn on your all-wheel steer. In the settings, and believe it or not, I actually read the operator's manual, so that's how I kind of know what I'm doing with this. Still learning as we go, little nuances obviously though. Your all-wheel steer will turn on and turn off at like a certain speed, and you can determine what that speed is. For this, it's 6 miles an hour, so if you're going through the field 8 miles an hour, you don't have all-wheel steer, so it'll steer a little bit easier for you, because when all-wheel steer's on, it turns. So then when you get to the end, so that you stay in the same tracks, you go below 6 miles an hour, the all-wheel steer kicks on, works pretty good. I think it does such a good job on fuel because you actually don't ever hit the throttle on this. It's got its own engine management. You just hit the stick and it gives as much throttle as it thinks it needs. Works good. I mean, I haven't had any complaints with it yet. Thought this pedal on the ground would be a throttle. It's not. It's a deaccelerator pedal, so you could call it the O pedal. This thing primes up unbelievably easy. Like the DTS-10, see, we just primed already. The DTS-10, it takes a long time for it to prime because the pump's up in front of me, like right in front of the windshield on the DTS-10. And it has to pull the water up, or the product up from the tanks. This pump's below the tank, so it just pushes, and it's impressive. Like, I knew this would be a nicer machine, but I didn't really think that there'd be a whole lot of difference in the operations in between the two. And it's a crazy night and day difference, honestly. Having the all-wheel steer makes having the bigger boom easier. I mean, I have no problems with it. Still, I don't think a 120-foot boom would work in our area. Some fields, yeah, it'd be fine, but others it'd be a headache to have a 120-foot boom. The air suspension on this sprayer is, you can't beat it. I mean, there's one thing that I don't really like about it is that if you do like a hard stop with the air suspension, it like shoves the whole sprayer forward, as in it like leans it forward. It's squishier, but it feels so stable going through the field. It's unbelievably easy to stay on the rows of corn. It's just impressive. It's really just impressive. One thing that I kind of don't like as much as I do the DTS-10, the pressure gauge, which is right there on the boom, on the DTS-10 is where you can maybe see that I put a zip tie. With the pressure gauge there on the other sprayer, it's really easy to index the middle of the sprayer, because in the middle of the sprayer, since this one has 15-inch row nozzles, or 15-inch nozzles, so a nozzle every 15 inches, when you put one nozzle right in the middle of the row, that means that you're splitting the rows with the tires. So to fix that, I guess I just put a big zip tie there. The other thing I would maybe gripe about just a little bit is that, I'll show you here, we'll get a, so right here you can see my target speed's 11.2. I'm spraying around 11.2. Is that when the higher target speed you have, the high, when you go to put it in reverse, I feel like reverse should be like a consistent reverse speed almost, because you get kind of used to how hard or how fast you can pull back the joystick into reverse in your turns. But if you're not in the same target range speed and you jump around a little bit, it goes back faster too. So that's a little bit of an oddball thing. I guess you could say that I'd rather have like reverse be consistent. See, my all-wheel steer just kicked in. Going 6 miles an hour. We'll hit the next one. We'll turn really sharply here. Lock into my line. Throw the stick forward and we go. Why did we stay with a Hagie? Or Hagie fanboys, I guess you could say. I really like the front mounted boom. I mean, I don't know why you'd want your boom behind you except for spraying nitrogen and things like that. But for spraying all day, you just get your boom in front of you. You can see all your nozzles. You can see the whole boom. I don't know why you'd want to have it behind you where you have to crank your neck all day. How are you supposed to see what's coming when you're looking backwards the entire time? Riddle me that. Obviously, with the Hagie, we have the high crop capabilities. That's going to play a factor into how we do things. Wide dropping with this would be really darn nice if we get that set up. Realistically, my opinion in comparing this to other sprayers is not really valid, I guess you could say, because of the fact that I've only ever ran a Hagie. I haven't ran a pull type sprayer. I haven't ever ran a rear boom sprayer. I haven't ran a John Deere sprayer. I haven't ran a case sprayer. If I was really to look at a rear boom sprayer, I would maybe look at an Apache. I don't know about the whole two-wheel drive thing. That concerns me a little bit. They say that if you run an Apache, they're so light that they get really hard to get stuck, and that might be true, but you know, is that on flatland or in our country? And besides, as we continue to upgrade our Hagies throughout the year, we'll own a John Deere at some point. This one technically isn't a John Deere Hagie, but it's close. It's great, 95 acres an hour in that field. But anyways, that's the equipment news from us. Kind of excited about this, having another sprayer down here. I don't know if I told you this or not, but while we were, I don't know if we even bought this one yet, but when we were spraying, we broke an airbag, or I broke, or it broke, an airbag on the DTS-10. John Deere got us up and running the next day, or the day after. It was really darn quick, so not a big downtime thing or anything like that. But it's almost like the DTS-10 knew it was getting a big brother. So, a little bit different of a video, not really a vlog style, just kind of keeping you guys in the loop here that we're out spraying, and got it with a new to us sprayer. So, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.
To grab him, but a couple of the other guys bundled him into the back of our vehicles.
Got a rider.
Got it?
Oh.
Okay, so now we're gonna get onto these rows here. You ready?
Yeah.
You want to see how sharp this thing turns? We'll be 90 degrees in like 2 seconds. Ready?
Wow.
And they drove in the same trap. So now I'm on this row. I count to 5. As soon as I get done counting to 5, I turn. I go 90 degrees. I find where I want to be. I get on my row. Shove the stick forward and we start spraying again.
Wow. Look at this corn. Yes.
How fast do you think we're going right now?
5 miles an hour.
We are going 6.2. Really trying to push all that product down into the canopy. Man. Alright, let me fold this up and then I'm gonna get out with you. It's pretty interesting itself. So
Does it fold in?
the top ones, you'll see. They just fold in.
Okay.
This ladder on the back, you can open that door. There, you see it? Okay, see how it's up in the air? Watch this, it'll go down. See it going down?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.